the waxing moon is the lunar phase that is most correlated to spring. Why? Because the new moon is the darkest time. That's the one that's correlated with winter. It's more about, a lot of people set intentions during the new moon. It's kind of a time for real, like, clean slate, new beginnings. Think of like New Year's Day sort of moment. If you menstruate, it's the time that's correlated with the actual bleeding time. It's like shedding, creating space, new beginning. Then what the phase that comes after that is the waxing. So it's a gradual increase. So it's the phase where we're seeing more of the moon, that gradual progression. And now that we're coming more towards the end of spring, we've done a lot during these classes to move the physical body to get a little bit more kind of like strength activation. And so now actually we've done a lot of work to support our system to kind of turn on with our movements. And now it's actually really helpful to take a little step back and down so the body can do its own work. There's kind of like two approaches. We can activate and engage our physical body to turn on the cleansing and the circulation. And then another approach, which is just as beneficial and, it makes sense, is to take a step back and just let our body do its own thing. So that's what we're going to explore today. So this is also going to be a good practice if you're in your follicular phase of your menstrual cycle. So right after you finish bleeding. So from the day that spotting ends to the time that you ovulate, this is going to be a really nice practice for that time if you want to kind of continue with these classes and think in that way. I will say that some of the things we're going to do, like Kapalabhati breathing, not so great for if you're actually menstruating. So if you're bleeding or if you may be pregnant. So if that's you, then I'll invite you to just come into Ujjayi breath while we're doing the Kapalabhati. Okay? Sound good? So let's begin. Just make sure that you have 2 blankets handy or towels. And then go ahead and sit on one of those blankets or towels. So as I think I've mentioned before, I like putting the edge of the fold forward so that the thighs can kind of fall out naturally. You want to try that. And just make it so that your seat is nice and kind of settled at the base so that you can be upright through the top. And let's go ahead and start your music. So if you got your playlist nearby, you can press play. Let's just begin by bringing the hands on the low belly. And you can stack your palms so that the palms face inward. And your palms are just effortlessly holding. They just naturally place themselves on the round of your low belly. So I'll invite you to feel your belly soften. And without projecting outward, just allow the belly to fall into your hands. So rather than pushing the belly into your hands, you're just allowing the belly to fall into your hands. We're just going to start with some Kapalabhati breath. So this is a breath that we practiced, I think, 3 classes ago. And this is just going to start the kind of warmth process within the body, encourage that circulation without having to do too many rigorous movements within the physical body. So just start by taking some nice deep inhales and exhales. And as you do that and come into the awareness of your breath, I'll remind you that Kapalabhati is sharp exhales. So the belly draws in with a forceful out breath, and the inhale is very natural. You don't think about or put much effort into the inhale. You're just emphasizing a sharp exhale. So just take one more full breath in and out to prepare. And let's start Kapalabhati. So when you're ready, sharp exhales out of your nose, mouth closed. And the pace at which you go, keep going, is really yours to make. So you can go slow or you can go quick or somewhere in the middle. But with your hands on your belly, feel that your belly is drawing in on the exhale, a little bit of force, and that the belly moves back into your hands as you inhale. So like you were blowing your nose, keep forcefully exhaling out of your nose. Let's do 5 more. And then pause. And then just start to feel the belly fully expand into your hands and gradually draw back towards your sacrum. Noticing any sensations, any feelings inside from the breath. And then release your palms and place them on your knees. And as you inhale, stretch the front of your spine open. So you're arcing like cow pose and cat-cow. Stretching the sternum forward with the chin. Now let's come into some big torso circles. So keeping your hands on your knees, tracing the biggest circle you can trace. And notice as perhaps your eyes fall closed and you're moving in this circular way with your torso, that also your pelvis is moving as well. And as a response to the rib cage. And then switch direction of the way that your torso is moving. Noticing all the shifts in the body, the way that the head responds, the way that the arms respond. And feeling as if you're tracing the shape of the moon. And then just go in the other way one more time. Noticing that with each movement, the spine opens a little bit more. Perhaps the neck opens, so the whole body responds. And then one more time, switch directions. Feeling your breath sync with the movement. And perhaps feeling the movement sync with the music, getting into a flow. Okay, one more time. And then come back to center, resting your spine back. And just take a moment as your elbows fall down, your palms soften. Notice the uprightness of your spine and the way that the blood's moving inside of you. And you're just going to flow into the next shape, stretching your right leg out in front of you. and drawing your left foot towards your inner right thigh. So from here, as the left knee falls open, you can slide a towel underneath the outer thigh if your knee is pretty lifted off the floor. And then use your hands and support the right thigh to roll internally. So you're kind of rolling it in and out. Same with the left thigh, creating space for the sitting bones to widely root. And then again, while you're here, notice your right foot and let your foot fall open. So there's a softness through the right foot. Bring your palms towards the ground on either side of your right leg. And as you walk the palms forward, keep your right foot soft. Closing your eyes and feeling into the moment where sensation brings alive the back of your right leg. And notice the placement of your spine that keeps you in touch with the sensation running down the back of your right leg, without putting too much force into the angle that your spine and leg make with each other. So you're really mostly just touching into the stretch without needing to go too deep into it. Noticing that sometimes going too far into the stretch, actually we lose a deeper sensation when we go too far in. So you can play with the angle of your spine and your leg and just feel what's enough so that you can meet sensation without overly straining. And again, notice that your right leg is falling open. There's a softness to the right leg as you fold over it. And keeping this theme of the waxing moon, just noticing that there's a gradual progression to the shape. So feeling the way that you may softly deepen the stretch through the duration that we're here, but without force, just allowing. Noticing where your head is and imagining that the crown of the head could extend towards the front edge of your mat. Noticing the gradual inhale. And noticing the gradual exhale. Let's come into 2 more rounds of breath here. And after your second breath, you walk your palms back in, supporting your spine to come back upright. And take a moment in between. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So you can lift your left knee up, stretch. the left leg forward, draw the right knee in and let it fall out. And then again, just start by kind of spiraling the thighs back and apart so that the sitting bones root more truly into the ground. And again, you can bring a towel underneath the bottom kind of outer right thigh if your knee is pretty lifted. And then from here, look at your left leg and just let your left foot fall open. You may want to even wiggle the leg and just make sure that the leg is truly released. As you bring your palms forward, start that journey of walking the palms forward in the direction of your left foot. You may like to rock your spine from side to side as you fold over that left leg. And keeping in mind the gradual quality of entering the pose. The waxing moon is really also about paying attention to the in-between time. And so often we're either totally turned off or we're totally on with tasks or responsibilities running around. So this phase is really all about supporting us to get to the part of the moon cycle that is more kind of full and energetic and extroverted, the full moon. So that we don't just come from the dormant phase, the new moon, and jump right into extroversion, but there's a process there that needs to happen. Steadily entering the shape. And once you find the shape, your connection with the sensation running down the back of your left leg. And see if you can drop right into meeting the sensation. And that there's a quality of gentleness as you focus your attention on the stretch running down the back of your left leg. There is intensity, but there's a gentle awareness and meeting of that intensity. Noticing that your heart is still open and the crown of your head stays extending forward. Let's come into 3 more rounds of breath here. And slowly walk the palms back towards your pelvis, lifting the spine up. And again, take a moment as your spine comes upright to support yourself to get quiet inside. You orient to the still point between the shapes. I'm going to go ahead and shift into tabletop pose. So bringing your palms underneath each shoulder and your knees underneath each hip. And let's start by moving into some cat-cow, so that every inhale arcs the spine and every exhale draws the back of the spine towards the sky. An arc with the inhale and around with the exhale. Noticing that your elbows stay soft as you move from arc to round so as to not extend the joint. And you can play with gentle undulations as if your spine were waving from the arc to the round with a graceful transition. So the space between the arc and the round is steady. One motion just falls into the next. One more. Make sure that your head is integrated with the rest of your spine. It's moving at the same pace. Okay, now arc the spine so the belly dips down, the sitting bones lift. And now as you round the back, let the sitting bones fall towards your heels like a child's pose. Exhale. And then inhale, lift back up and arc the spine. Inhale, and as you exhale, beginning to round, let your sitting bones move towards your heels, rolling back into child's pose. Just keep moving in this way. And again, pay attention to the transitional waves between the shapes. Remembering that really what we're focusing on today is creating a gradual transition, a steady transition, and moving in a way that's not over efforting, even though there's still circulation happening. We can actually do less and things still happen. Feeling that in the way that you move. Let's come into two more. Face is open, jaw is unclenched, eyes are soft. Okay, now come sit on your heels. You walk your palms back. And then close off the space between your feet, your knees. And bring your hands into fists and bring them right in front or on top of your, it's called the pelvic crest here, the little bony protrusions. Just bring your fists right above those bony protrusions on either side of your pelvic bowl. And then lift up, get very tall in the spine and fold over, bringing your forehead to the floor. Or if your forehead doesn't reach the floor, you can slide a blanket underneath your forehead. So your forehead is meeting something, either the floor or a rolled up blanket. So again, supporting the season and phase of circulation. Feeling the gentle inhale, press against the fist. The gentle exhale, the fists may nestle upward into the belly a little more. Letting yourself get very quiet here, just resting for the next few breaths. slowly come back up. Feel as if as you lift the spine, the crown of the head can extend upward as your sitting bones root. And then take one of your fists and hold that fist. You're cupping one fist with the other, and then bring that right in front, center pelvis. And as you rest your fist into your lap, inhale again, lift your spine up, and exhale, drop over and down. Again, resting your forehead either on blanket or on the ground if it meets that space. And staying focused on your gradual breathing. So the inhale gradually expands into your fist. And the exhale, the fist gradually draws upward into the belly a little more. This is also a nice posture I like to do towards the end of my menses to just support the further clearing of the uterus. It's a pose that supports clearing. Take a few more steady breaths here. And then again, slowly rise up. And as you rise up, feel that the crown is lifting up as the sitting bones ground. And release here. Your palms forward, and let's draw the right knee forward for a pigeon pose. So as you move into pigeon pose with the right knee forward, if your right hip is lifted, you can slide one of your towels underneath the right hip for support. And before you come all the way down with your spine, stay upright here. And we're going to move into another round of Kapalabhati breath. So I want you again to just go at your own pace. I'm going to create a little bit more space in the pelvis before we fold over. Just start by taking an inhale and exhale. Nice full inhale, and as you exhale, begin. Remember, sharp exhale. Feeling the belly contract in on the exhale. Ten more. Inhale. And exhale, begin to fold over your right leg. Now I'll invite you to keep your forearms down so that the chest and the head stay a bit more upright. Really focusing on rooting and settling through the pelvic bowl. Feeling the way that the belly swells towards your inner right thigh as you inhale. And softly unwinds on the exhale. The spring is the season of renewal. Plants slowly coming back, leaves slowly emerging on the trees. And us starting to have more access to fresh vegetables. You know, all the newness is starting to come back. Just noticing how important it is to actually step back a little bit so that we don't overexert or over effort so as to deplete while there's so much rebuilding happening. You may even just take a moment to reflect just in your life, what's going on that is taking a lot of energy, taking a lot of effort. And is there a way that you can meet that intensity of demand with a little bit more softness? Is there a way that you can actually do less in order to create more space for the thing to unfold on its own? And that's really the theme of this phase of the lunar cycle, letting things happen as they will. We'll just come into about 3 more rounds of breath here. And when you're ready, walk your palms back towards your hips. Remembering to pay attention to the transition. Gradually shift your right knee back. You may want to stretch for a moment, an extended child's pose if that feels good. And then as you're ready, switch to the other side, placing your left knee forward for pigeon prep. This pose is actually the prep for the full pigeon pose. So remembering to stay upright, using supports as needed, perhaps beneath your left pelvic half. And as you situate yourself squaring off your hips, feeling a nice stretch and open space in the low belly here, I like to pitch on my tented fingertips to get a little bit more stretch through the front of the belly. And let's start into those Kapalabhati breaths. So begin by taking a full breath in and out to prepare. And then again, you'll inhale, and as you exhale, you can begin the practice with sharp exhales, drawing the belly in on the out breath. Inhales out the nose. Exhales, I mean. Exhales out the nose. Ten more. Inhale. And exhale, stretch forward and down. And again, you can stay on your forearms, facing the palms down, like Sphinx pose through the arms. And feeling a tiny arch through the upper back here. So the sternum reaches forward. Shoulders roll back and down. So it's very easy, and you may have noticed this in your own life, but it's very easy during this phase to feel overwhelmed. We go from this more dormant, dreamy, intention setting phase of the new moon or the winter, maybe menstruation. And then all of a sudden there's so much to do, so much movement happening. And so the magic of this phase, again, is noticing that things are happening without you even having to do a lot. So it's also a key time to witness where there may be unnecessary control happening, and how you can let go of control just a little bit so that things can unfold on their own. Noticing how that feels in the body when you contemplate that. And the way that we can do less from shape to shape is perhaps using a little bit more proppage. Not going into our full capacity in the shape, but just moving an inch back so that the shape becomes more sustainable. We can endure it for longer. Let's just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And after your 3rd breath, you can walk your palms back. Again, gradually draw that left knee back. Maybe you can extend into child's pose extended. So in extended child's pose, the toes stay tucked and the forearms stay lifted. There's a big stretch through the spine. And then come up to sit and go ahead and grab one of your blankets. I'm just going to roll up the blanket. So you may start with something that looks kind of like this. And as you start with something that looks like this, go ahead and roll it. So depending on, for example, how full your belly feels, if there's maybe pressure, maybe you haven't had a bowel movement yet, or you ate a big breakfast or whatever, you may want to roll it up less if you have more pressure in your belly this morning. If you feel like you're pretty empty in the belly, you have space there, then you can play with rolling it up thicker, okay? So kind of gauge that for yourself. And again, you can always change the roll, but start somewhere. And then we're going to lie down and bring the space right over the pelvic bones, so the soft part of the belly, onto the roll of the blanket. Then bring the forearms down for Sphinx pose. Palms face down. Rolling the shoulder heads back, reaching the sternum forward, letting the feet just flop behind you. And go ahead and close your eyes and focus your awareness on your belly breathing to extend. Inhale into the towel. And exhale, bringing out so that the towel can kind of move closer towards your inner body with each breath out. So you're softening over the towel. Noticing, depending on the sensation in your body, that there may be a lot going on. There may be a lot of pressure. Or you may not be feeling much. Wherever you are on that spectrum, see if you can soften into the shape so that the belly meets the towel and the towel meets the belly. So there's a relational quality of allowing for the experience. And you may feel a little bit of a pulse with this pressure. And just reminding yourself of the circulatory nature of the season, this phase. There's a lot of regeneration, rebuilding happening, a lot of internal movement. And again, without you having to over effort, it's already occurring. So we'll just come into about 3 more rounds of breath here. After the 3rd breath, you can bring your palms back and slowly lift up and off your towel. Come up to a seat. And then you can take your towel, and or blanket, I keep saying towel, but blanket. I like to, in this shape, I like to actually fold it in half for this next thing we're going to be doing, and then roll it up so it gets a little thicker. You're kind of more in this place. So it's thicker with that extra fold. You can place it pretty much in the middle of your mat. We're going to move our sacrum onto the towel. Resting the back onto the mat. So your sacrum is supported by the towel. Both feet on the floor. And as you're ready here, feel the sacrum supported. Gentle lift with your towel. And draw your left knee in. See if you can hold the front of the shin. If you can't quite reach, you can hold the back of the left thigh, either one. And then stretch your right leg out in front of you. Just letting the right leg kind of flop open. The right leg is relaxed. As you close your eyes, feel the weight of your palm. Notice and gauge for a softness in the way that your fingers are interlaced. And notice the connection of the back of the head to your mat, the back of your torso. And feeling as if that left thigh could fall into the left side of the torso. Again, without pushing or pulling the leg to meet you, just allowing the leg to draw in with a gentle supported weight of your hands. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are heavy. And the upper body is restful, non-efforting. I'm taking about 3 more rounds of breath here. And after that third breath, place the left foot back onto the floor. And let the right foot come onto the floor. And draw the right knee in and hold the front of the shin or the back of the thigh. And extend the left leg out this time. So again, the left leg is flopping open. And as you begin, take a moment to become aware of your thoughts. And noticing the quality of your thoughts, the general theme of what you were just thinking about. And is there an efforting quality to the thought? So for example, to-do list type thinking or planning, trying to figure something out. And if that's true for you, see if you can actually visualize the thoughts falling away. So that there's more space created within the thinking mind as those kind of over-efforting thoughts release. So you're invited by yourself to keep coming back to spacious presence. Let's come into 3 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly release the right foot back onto the floor and then draw the left foot onto the floor. And roll onto your side. Roll up and slide that blanket roll up a little bit towards the head of your mat here. And then take that second blanket and bring it by the very top of your mat. Here. Let's start by resting on the right hip. And as you rest on your right hip, come to lie on your side and bring that lowest blanket roll right underneath the right side of your rib cage. So it's pretty much in line with your the center of your breast, right underneath on the right. And then just bring your kind of right arm in between the towels or the blankets and bring your head on that towel that is furthest up to the top of the mat. Lying on your side, first towel right underneath the center of your outer right rib half. Second towel supporting the side of your head. As you stay here, you can stay here with your left arm or bring the arm up overhead so the arm rests on the left side of your head. And the palm can face down. And breathing into the outer left lung. Noticing the body cascade over the supportive blanket. And feeling the arc in your spine, just like the gentle arc of the waxing moon. There's a graceful opening of the side. If your left arm ever gets tired or it needs a break, you can simply change the angle by resting it alongside your torso again. Whatever feels supportive. And just take 3 rounds of breath here. And then from here, we'll transition to the other side with very minimal movement. You can press the left palm into the floor and just switch the way that you're facing. So the blankets are already set up, lying on your left side this time. And again, placing the lowest blanket right underneath the left side of your center rib half. Head is supported by the second blanket. And choosing the angle of your right arm this time, either resting it up and along the right side of your head, or any other angle that works. And again, you always want to feel some sensation happening without overexerting or overstraining. Paying attention to the fullness of your breath in your lungs so that you feel a gentle stretch through the side of your ribs And that again, with the out breath, your body can fall into the support of the towels and the ground. And we'll come into 3 more rounds of breath here. And after your third breath, slowly come up to sit. Just going to set up for our final pose before Shavasana, which is going to be Supta Baddha Konasana. We'll take those 2 blankets and bring them to either side of the center of the mat. And bring the soles of the feet together so that the knees fall out and are supported by the blankets. And then support yourself to come back first onto your forearms. And then scooting onto the full back. And then once you come into the shape with your legs, resting the back of spine onto the floor, choose what position you like for the arm. So you may want to keep your hands resting on the low belly. Just keeping that connection so that the rise and fall of the breath can be felt by your hands. Or if you want to work on creating a little bit more space in the chest, you can bring your arms out to the sides so that the palms face up. Again, really the choice is yours, whatever feels most supportive. And again, closing the eyes, with the eyes closed, just feeling the back body connection to the earth. Perhaps the suppleness of the internal organs. And even imagining that the inner organs could rest into the support of the back. Now you can stay here for the next couple of rounds of breath. Whenever you feel ready, you can stretch one leg at a time out in front of you, letting the palms face up. And just making way into Shavasana pose. Alternatively, if this shape feels really good and you'd like to stay here for your Shavasana, you could do that too. Let's just spend a minute or 2 here, completely quiet, resting into stillness. And gradually start to bring your awareness back to your breathing. And start to gently move your physical body again, awakening through your fingers and your toes. And supporting yourself to eventually come back into a seated position. Remember, take your time between the transition from one shape to the next. And as you come to your seat, you can sit on one of those towels. Make sure that your seat feels comfortable. And we'll move into pranayama, the breathing practice. So the breathing practice we're going to come into is the opposite of one we did, I think 2 weeks ago, which was Surya Vedana. So that was the more energizing breath we did. And this is called Chandra Vedana. So Chandra is Sanskrit for moon. So this is essentially translates to moon breathing. And what it is it's an inhale through the left side and an exhale through the right. The left side is correlated to coolness, to the moon, releasing heat and excess to the right nostril. So we'll start as we did in the same pattern as 2 weeks ago when we did Surya Vedana. So you can choose to keep the count of the breath same with the inhale and the exhale, or you can choose to double the count of the exhale as compared to the inhale. That's the traditional way of doing this practice. However, it really depends on how you feel in any given day, whether you want to do that. So we're going to start with an inhale 4, exhale 4. And if as we progress through the practice, if you want to inhale 4, exhale 8, you could do that. Alternatively, inhale 3, exhale 6, double the exhale from the inhale is the point. So let's begin finding the upright seat. And we're gonna just use a very easy hand gesture or mudra. So the thumb is gonna rest on the right nostril and the ring finger is gonna rest on the left nostril. So you could let the index and middle finger touch the bridge of the nose, which can often feel quite nice. And start here by feeling into just a couple of rounds of inhaling through both nostrils, exhaling through both nostrils. You'll empty here. And as you inhale this time, close off your right nostril and breathe in through your left for 4. Switch, exhale right 4. Inhale left 4. Exhale right 4. So again, you'll always inhale left nostril. And you'll always exhale through your right. Now keep going. Inhale 4, exhale 4. And at this point, if you choose to go into double the exhale, count from the inhale, you can try that. So again, the inhale would be for 4 and the exhale would be for 8. making sure that you're pacing the length of the breath. So again, you're not forcing or pushing breath out. You're allowing for a gradual incline and decline. If doubling the count of the exhale feels like too much, to switch to same count, inhale, exhale. Outer body softens around the breath. Unwinding tension in your hands, shoulders, neck. Letting the body rest around the breath. Let's come into 3 more rounds of breath. Keep the breath very steady, very patient. And after your third out breath, whenever that happens, you can release your palms so that the hands rest face down on the top of the thighs. Falling back into natural breath. Taking a moment, notice how you feel. And then freshen your seat if you need to. If you need to switch the cross of your legs or reach your arms up and overhead for a moment. Whatever you need to do to freshen the seat for meditation. When you feel ready, allow yourself to drop into meditation, meditative state. So beginning by bringing awareness to your lower body, connection with the earth. Anchoring into the earth. Feeling the uprightness of your spine, lifting up from your rooted tailbone. Blossoming up through the crown of your head. And as you keep the awareness of your body, also become aware of a globe or ball of energy up above you in the cosmos. Visualize this ball of energy, the moon. So imagine the moon above you. And then visualize that half of it is illuminated. So the waxing moon is on the right side, is illuminated. becoming aware of that light. And noticing anything that you notice about this way that the moon is presenting to you. So any attributes that we talked about today, anything that resonates with you. Gradual progress, growth, steady incline. And beginning to imagine that aspect of the moon, this waxing moon illumination, beaming down over your body. So moon bathing. And imagining all of those traits, all of those qualities, saturating your whole self. Resting in the awareness that you are growing, you are in the process of transformation. And allowing this ancient wisdom that knows so much about what it means to grow with patience, with grace, with beauty, feeling that wisdom of how to do that, saturating your body. Knowing that you already know how to do this. So this illumination and this pouring of wisdom is almost like activating or turning a switch on for what you innately know how to do. And you may want to take this moment also to ask the waxing moon to touch a part of your life that really needs this wisdom right now. Trusting in the process of your natural growth. And noticing what happens when you invite that wisdom into this part of your life. Just take a final moment here, really focusing on allowing the wisdom of the waxing moon to become you, to infuse your being. And then again, become aware of the moon above your body, extending a moment of gratitude for its constant beingness, knowing that all we have to do to connect to this wisdom is to become aware of it. So knowing that it's there whenever we need it. And slowly return back to the awareness of our body. Take a moment to check in with yourself. Notice how you're doing, how you're feeling right now, where your thoughts are. So let's go ahead and take our palms to meet the front of the heart. And close your eyes, lower your chin towards your hands. Take a moment in gratitude. So thinking about this practice, everything that supported you to show up this morning. Your commitment to stay in a place of self-care. Maybe setting a little intention for yourself to keep going with your practices that keep you in a place of self-connection. When you're ready, you can slowly lift your chin and gently open your eyes.